Do you want to play with players that feel like their real-life counterparts? Go to roster sharing on Xbox One. Download the latest version of Danczak Analytics. Load up team practice, Edmonton Oilers 1v1, Connor McDavid versus Cody Ceci. Tell me this doesn't feel like one of the best players, if not the best player in the entire world. Bait the CPU into hitting you or trying to take the puck from you, and let the attributes and X factors play out, as well as your own skill set. McDavid, as you see here, gets knocked off the puck, but picks it right back up, just like in real life. He'll also drive to the net and be a unstoppable force, as well as can deke super fast. This roster just feels right. This is the primary reason why I wanted to make this roster. I wanted the players to feel like themselves. This project started off in 2019 as a goalie-only roster and now has developed and evolved into what it is today, an analytics-based endeavor. It isn't a popularity contest. Here's EA's final roster update in franchise mode. The overalls do have some good range here. Honestly, this is the best roster that they made the past 5 years. Now let's load up my ratings without the NHL 25 transactions to compare the end of season ratings. See now that the range is even wider and the gap between the best team and the worst team is even greater. That is the secondary reason why I make this roster. Range. 2K has it, the show has it, I want NHL to have it, or at least more of it. So thanks to analytics, players will now play like themselves more. The only downside to this roster is, and it's also downside of the game, franchise mode is broken. I've had 86 overall defensemen ask for almost $10 million. I've had 82 overall defensemen ask for $5 million. Realistically, these asks should be cut in half. So yes, my ratings will force players that aren't superstars to ask for superstar money, but the game is also broken when it comes to their asks. But when it comes to gameplay, I 100% rather would play with my roster. So let's reload my NHL 25 roster and check out the ratings. Let's look at all the goalies, then the skaters. We're going to talk about what I don't agree with, that's a little bit too high, and also what I agree with, which is pretty much everything else. My goaltenders are to a T. So for the longest time, EA's had John Gibson at a 90 overall. For like 6 years straight, he has not been very good. Last time he's been very good was like 2017, 2018. Now he's finally fallen off in the EA roster. He's an 84, I believe. He deserves an 83, and Dostal is better in the EA roster. He is not, but these are the numbers. This is their guy moving forward, and they can't get rid of John Gibson because nobody wants the $6.4 million goaltender that is essentially now a backup. EA also got wrong with Ingram being better than Velmeka. I use a 3-year base, and in those 3 years, Velmeka has been better than Ingram. If you want to base it off of 1 year, EA did a good job with the roster, and Ingram did have a better year than Velmeka last season. Jeremy Swayman, actually, if you've watched my videos of years past for rosters, has had really great analytics, and he's been very highly rated. I, at the time, thought he was too high, but now he is coming into fruition, and those analytics are proven correct. Jeremy Swayman is an elite goalie, and he's been an elite goalie underlying for a very long time. The rest of these ratings are pretty fair. Georgiev had a nice boost. He's a very solid goalie. Merzlikins is very solid. I feel bad for him because he lost his best friend. Ottinger's about the same. And nearly all of these are about the same. Cam Talbot eye test doesn't look that great, but he's got great underlying numbers. Skinner was a little bit of a boost. He had a really great season last year. Bob was boosted up a little bit. I believe he was an 87 or so in EA's roster, maybe an 89, not sure. But Bob is back to being elite. Kemper got a little bit of a boost. He had a down year this past season, but he has a Stanley Cup championship. He has great underlying numbers. He always has been a great analytic goaltender. In Arizona, he got injured a lot, so that probably kind of dropped down his value, but Kings got a pretty good goalie in Kemper, which they had a couple seasons ago before they let him go. And then here's also something interesting. They had Fleury, I think Gustafsson tied. Gus had a down year, I believe, last year, but the past 3 years he's been better than Fleury, and this roster shows it. The rest of these are pretty fair. Saros, best goaltender in the game. Maybe not so if Big Cat had a full season last year, but Saros is unbelievably underrated and deserves his contract extension. Someone also underrated is Jacob Markstrom. He's absolutely elite. Devils got a great goaltender in him. He's getting up there in age, though. Sorokin, Great goaltender. No one really talks about him because they talk about the other Russian in the other state of New York, Igor Shesterkin. Also, Jonathan Quick, absolute legend, deserves to be boosted to an 85. He's come back to form a little bit. Also as a backup nearing the end of his career. Perfect role for him. The rest of these, pretty fair. You got Allmark at the same exact rating. Jari was boosted a little bit more than EA's. Probably doesn't really deserve that, but he has been playing pretty outstanding for them. Going back to Philly, sorry, going backwards a little bit. You got some goalies here that are a little bit not rated that well, but again, I'm a range guy. Danczak, always injured, should be better than he is. Blackwood had one great year, and that was about it. He's just kind of existing. The EA roster had Decord over Grubauer, which he did have a better season than Grubauer, but until he has another great season over Grubauer is still the better goalie between those two. Binnington had a great year last year, saved his overall from his 3-year base. Vasilevsky dropped a little bit because of his injury. Wool probably takes over the starting net from Stallars. Wool's probably their best goaltending prospect for Toronto. Demko elite as heck. Samsonov goes as a backup or a 1B to Hill because Hill is injured quite often, but he does have a Stanley Cup championship. And this is going to be very interesting who wins out in this one. Two lefties. Lindgren had a great year last year, has great underlying numbers as a backup, now a fringe starter, as they say here in this game. But Logan Thompson definitely wants some starts, so that's going to be a very interesting tandem. Washington went crazy this offseason, acquiring a bunch of different people. And Connor Hellebuyck, definitely one of the best goaltenders in the game, always has the best save percentage, but that doesn't mean he has the best analytics, but he has both. So Connor Hellebuyck, a very underrated goalie. One day might win a Stanley Cup. Now let's go into the skaters. So nothing really boosts difference here or drops. Biggest drop was McTavish. He dropped, I believe, from an 85. His numbers aren't that great, but he's only 21 years old, so he should be okay. Cam Fowler dropped a little bit. He's starting to get up there in age, and his game is not getting any better. It's fallen off a little bit. I'm really glad Zegras dropped from like high 80s like a year or so ago, just because he was a cover athlete. They finally made him realistic, and I also have him at about an 85. Killorn was boosted from EA's as well as Goodies. He actually plays really great defense. Carlson had a great year last year. He deserves his 86. For the Coyotes, or the Utah Hockey Club, they had a really great offseason. They got John Marino, Sergachev. Ian Cole is underrated. He's boosted in my roster. Jersey's bumped down a little bit, but Schmaltz is boosted up a lot. He's actually quite good, but hands down their best player on their team is Clayton Keller. Boston, I know Pasternak was very high. He's very good, but he doesn't play much defense. The best player on their team is between essentially McAvoy and Marchand. For some reason, my roster doesn't have the greatest ratings for defensemen, except like Slavin is the best player on the Carolina Hurricanes, but you will see some ratings like Zaka and Coyle. Like, you probably think those guys are too high. It all depends on their 5v5 play. So you probably see stuff you don't agree with, and I'll probably agree with you on it. Here's something that is different than EA's. Dahlin is bumped down to an 89 rather than like a 91 or so he was. The best player on the team is Tage Thompson. This is actually curved up for Dahlin to be an 89 rather than like an 86 or 87, because he really doesn't play much defense. Contributes offensively wonderfully, but isn't that great. So here's something I don't agree with. I feel that Kadri is the best player on the team, but Blake Coleman shouldn't be that high, but his analytics are unbelievable. He's a 5v5 guy, plays defense, drives the play, just does not finish, but he contributes so much to more than just the score sheet. Someone that's underrated and deserves a 91 is Kuzmetsko. 90 for Huberdeau is a little bit high, but he has been putting up his regular career-ish points the past couple of seasons, even though he had some coaching issues or he's been on the third line, etc., etc. Uyghur at 89 is fair. Pospisil at 88 is probably a little bit too high. Mantha at 87 is pretty fair. He's a pretty good sniper, just gets injured a lot. So the Carolina Hurricanes lose so many people this offseason, yet they're still so good. So you have so many dudes in the 90s. You probably think Jarvis is a little bit too high at a 92. You probably think he deserves like a 90 or 89 or 88, and I would say that's fair. And Stahl, you also might think it's a little bit too high, but he's just absolute great leader, has great numbers. Nietzsche as well. Fast might be a little bit too high to 88, but Orlov is pretty good. 88, 87 is probably a little more fair. Martin Hook is a little bit too high, maybe at 88. But like these guys are like, you have to understand the way that Carolina is built. They're literally built for analytics. So it makes sense that the guys on the team are higher overalls using analytics as their main source of statistics or ratings for the players. So again, they're the best team in the league because they have the best numbers. But that also doesn't mean you're going to win the Stanley Cup every year, but it puts you in a pretty good position to do so. Chicago had a heck of an off season. They gained so many great players. Their team will definitely be better this season. Teravainen, probably a little high at 90, but he's still an amazing player. Bedard, I think was an 87 at EA's, boosted up because I think he started the season maybe 85. Had a great first year, got injured a little bit, so his numbers should improve for this upcoming season. Bertuzzi was very low for Toronto for EA's, but he's actually a pretty good player. Plays not really much defense. I think he has that rep that he hits a lot of people and stuff, which he kind of does. He does have highlight reel hits. That's why he has the trickle and zone ability, but doesn't really play much defense. And he contributes a lot 5v5 when it comes to offense. Doesn't finish too much, but he gets injured a lot, and he does score a decent amount of goals despite being injured. Seth Jones was bumped down a little bit, and this has been actually raised up and curved upwards, so he actually deserves to be a little bit lower. So this might upset some people, and I agree with you a little bit. Landeskog got 95. He's been injured a lot, but his numbers are unbelievable. Rantanen should probably be the top guy. He's the guy that nobody talks about because he doesn't have the highlights of McKinnon or Makar that people just like talk about him all the time. Also, Tays is very underrated. The rest of this team, you probably think, these guys are too high, like Ross Colton, Lehkonen. Honestly, these guys are unbelievable in the way that Joe Sakic has set up his team. They're going to be successful, and they have been successful. Why? Because they have a good analytics department. The Blue Jackets, Johnny Gaudreau, the best player on the team. He definitely is. Boone Jenner's been boosted up a little bit, and Zach Werenski has dropped down. Zach Werenski, he gets injured a decent amount of time, but he does not contribute defensively much, and offensively he does a decent amount, but still, like, I think his rating's like at least an 87 in EA's, maybe like 88, 89, way too high. Werenski actually should be dropped way lower, as well as Patrick Laine hasn't really contributed much. I hope he finds his game and his mental space. But Gaudreau being 90, it is a little high, but he has had some great years the past 3 years. Last year was not very good. If he has another year like last year, then yes, he will be dropping down, but until then, the guy is still a 90. Jason Robertson, one of the best players in the game, 95 overall. Does this man play defense? Yes, he does. That's why he's a 95 overall. So you're going to see these numbers and think like some of these dudes are too high, but the hockey's a two-way sport, and this game will also show that off in the overall. Hintz, underrated. Heiskanen, underrated. Here's one that's a little bit too high for my taste. Wyatt Johnston's awesome, but 90, not that awesome. Stay with Mason Marchment, unbelievable analytics. He had it with Florida. Great signing by Dallas. But yeah, 90 is a little bit too high for my taste, but that's the analytics, that's the numbers. And if you look at like something like this, look at his like shot accuracy, 83 below average, 87 accuracy for wrist shot. He plays defense, he contributes offensively. Detroit Red Wings. Steve Yzerman had a heck of a trade for Alex DeBrincat. He is the best player on the team. The EA roster has Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane does not play defense. This has been curved up. He's about average defensive awareness. He was way lower before curving him upward, but absolutely unbelievable player, one of the best players in the modern age. And the rest of these guys are about fair-ish. So Connor McDavid being a 95 overall, one of the best players in the game, absolutely unbelievable. Zach Hyman and Draisaitl being tied at 93. Zach Hyman almost scored 50 goals last year, I want to say, at the top of my head. But Nuge being 92, maybe a little bit high, but also fair. He's unbelievable, very underrated. Skinner being at 90, a little high. He's got great numbers, though, so it's kind of deserving, but we'll see how many goals he scores in the top 6 Edmonton. Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be a lot. Bouchard being 90, super fair. Ekholm, super fair at 89. He's a very underrated two-way guy. Arvidsson at 89 being a little bit too high. He probably deserves maybe 87, but that's just off of like an eye test or what my own feelings and opinions are. And the rest of this is pretty fair. Nurse at 87 is a little bit too high, but that's been curved up for his defensive awareness. And then the rest of the team is pretty good. Barkov, 95, one of the best players in the game. Reinhart had an unbelievable season last year. Deserves a 95, probably deserves more like a 94-3 based off of my own feelings. Kachuk at 93, fair. Verhaeghe, 92, great player. Probably more like a 90, should be more fair because he's going to ask for a lot of money in his extension, and he probably will get $7 or $8 million in real life. Bennett being at 91, yeah, that's a little bit too high, but he does contribute offensively for analytics. Rodriguez also 90, being a little bit too high, probably like 88, 87 for these dudes. And then the rest of these defensemen are pretty good, and also some of their centers and other grinders they got going on here. The Kings, Andrei Kopitar being the best player on the team at 93. Fiala injured a decent amount of time, but I think it was a recent all-star. He's still right in his prime right now. Kempe has been an unbelievable goal scorer, has flourished the past couple of years. Trevor Moore, you probably think is a little bit too high at 92, but I think I just saw a stat on Twitter that Trevor Moore has had the most 5v5 goals with the Kings since like 2008 or so. So the rest of these pretty good. Doughty came back to form at a 90. Deneau, very underrated two-way guy. 90 is deserved, but probably 88, 89 is more fair. Vogel 87, maybe a little bit too high, but pretty good grinder, the guy that will score goals and also beat the crap out of you on the boards. And then Kaliev, maybe a little bit too high, 85, but he's got great analytics. Whoever's going to be trading for him because he's an RFA and he wants out is going to get a good player. Kaprizov is one of the best players in the world, and he plays for the Minnesota Wild, so people don't really talk about him. I mean, they don't really see him in the playoffs much, so they can't really see his skill set, but he deserves a 95. Eriksson Ek at 94 is a little bit too high. He probably deserves like a 90. But great players, got good numbers. Boldy at 93, also a little bit too high, but he has played absolutely unbelievable. Dude scored 31 goals, 32 assists. So, and you also want to know one thing, he plays amazing defense on 5v5. The dude is pretty good and honestly kind of deserves it. Zuccarello being a little bit too high at 92. Hartman the same. Brock Faber is starting to turn out to be a great defenseman at age 22 for them. So it's a pretty good trade 1-for-1 with the Kings. The Canadian fans hate me because Cole Caulfield is an 86 overall. He's got really good wrist shot accuracy at 92. Okay, relax, Canadians fans. The Canadians will be good in the future. Now onto the Nashville Predators. They had probably the best offseason out of anyone, bagging Marchessault, Stamkos, and Shea. These dudes are underrated and were absolutely steals of a signing, especially with Marchessault being a 92 and Stamkos, former captain of Tampa, just like, how is that possible? Unbelievable signings. Ryan O'Reilly, very underrated, deserves a 90, probably more fair to be like an 89, but Philip Forsberg literally is one of the best players in the world. 93 is totally deserved. Great shot, plays defense, hits, unbelievable player. Roman Josi being a 90 is a little high for my taste. I feel like he should be like an 88 or so, but this has been curved up. His defensive play has fallen down the past 2 years. 3 years ago, he was great and totally deserved like a Norris nod, but his play the past 2 years hasn't been there. Maybe with a better D partner like he'll have this season, it should improve. Devs fans, Hischier being above Jack Hughes. You can agree with it, you cannot agree with it. Jack Hughes might leapfrog him this upcoming season, but Hischier's numbers are great. He's just injured all the time. Timo Meier, very underrated, is a really good acquisition by New Jersey. Honestly, still deserves the 92. If he falls off a little bit, then he'll drop down. Bratt being a 92 is a little bit high, but he's still very damn good and deserves it. Holla being a 90 is definitely a little bit too high for me, but he does play great defense. Let's look at the numbers. 92 defensive awareness. Offensive awareness contributes 93. So the guy is a average, below average shooter, but he drives the play, does a really great job. A great signing to get Pesci from Carolina. Palat was a really good signing to get from Tampa when he was available. And Mercer is starting to develop, as well as Tatar coming back. So there must be culturally something in that locker room that people are coming back to sign with the team. Also, quickly, Dougie Hamilton, EA's got him very high. He has not played very well. He's been injured a lot, I know, but when he hasn't been injured, his play has kind of dropped down a little bit. This has been curved up. He's kind of an average defender, but offensively unbelievable. New York Islanders, I really like the Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins in the way that they have a lot of stability with their organization. So there's really not much roster turnover. Now that Dubas is coming to Pittsburgh, a little bit different, but with Lou Lamb in the island, he's done a really good job of not really like producing much turnover, except that they got rid of their grinders this year that were in their mid-late 30s. But you got Bo Horvat, Barzal, those are really fair. Nelson's very underrated. Lee was boosted, I think, from EA's, very great leader. Good old grinder Palmieri, but has actually great scoring ability and was a all-star. I really like that EA's roster. They really did a good job boosting their top three core defenders, Noah, Adam, and Ryan. and those dudes were actually in the mid to high 80s, which was really nice. Here they just dropped down a little bit. I do use a different stat for WAR, so their past roster ratings were higher than they are now. The New York Rangers, one of my Stanley Cup prediction picks last season, did not pan out. Best player on the team, Adam Fox. I agree with that. I'm not the biggest Ranger guy. I couldn't tell you that Vincent Trocheck was or was not the best player, or if it's Kreider or Zibanejad or Panarin. Panarin, very good offensive player, overrated by EA at a 95. Has a great shot, but the guy just does not play defense. It's been curved up to about average, but he's a below average defender, does not block shots at all. But I used to see 5-star puck skills, absolutely sick hands, great skater, but doesn't hit anybody, just provides offense essentially. Trocheck at 93 being overrated at 93. I feel like 89 is more fair for him. Kreider at 92 maybe a little too high, but he's still great. 89, 90 is fair. Zibanejad at 91 I see is pretty good. Someone like Riley Smith is pretty good at 89, but maybe still a little high. 88, 87 is a little bit more fair. Keandre Miller, 88 is pretty fair rating. Lafreniere is starting to come into his own. Brady Tkachuk, best player on the team for Ottawa. I think Ottawa fans would agree with that. Giroux still's got it, 92 overall. Plays pretty good defense, and this is his last couple of years playing. Stützle, very underrated. Obviously, all the Senators fans know how great he is. Batherson being a little bit high at 90 for my taste, as well as Parama. Parama's great analytics. Sanderson, 88 is pretty fair. He's a great young defenseman for them. Philadelphia Flyers. I do have a custom Michkov. Where are you? Boom, there you are, all the way down there. Caw, that's a wrestling term. Cap, create a player. These ratings are not accurate for him, but so just ignore that. But Konecki, definitely the best player. Tippett, maybe a little bit high for my taste. Couture, a little bit too high for my taste. And the rest of the team is kind of they're kind of existing because they're not there just yet, but this team is starting to turn it around. They're going to start turning around, I think, rather quickly. Like I said, with Pittsburgh, I love their stability. Malkin and Crosby, Letang, they've had most of their core for years now, and this game is obviously, these two dudes are tied at 92 overall, but it's funny they put Malkin in front of Crosby as the #1 guy. If anyone watched the HBO series, that's who goes at the end of the line for Pittsburgh. It's Malkin, because 3 years Super League. Bunting a little bit high for my taste at 91, but he's got great analytics. So if Gensel wasn't going to resign with Pittsburgh, that's a pretty good move by Dubas. Raquel's great, but a little bit high at 89. I would put him below Rust. I would give him like 87, 88. Letang and Carlson actually quite fair, 87. Carlson does not play defense at all. He is a below average defender, and he's won the Norris 3 times. So it says something about his offensive ability, which is very good. Tang, I don't think he's ever won the Norris, and his defensive ability is also below average, but better than Carlson with these ratings. Blake Lizotte was a pretty good signing. He's a little guy, he gets injured a lot, but he plays really great two ways, really scrappy dude. And they got Kevin Hayes from St. Louis, so the team improves a little bit from last year. Tyler Toffoli says screw everybody else. He decides to sign with the San Jose Sharks. That was a choice. Best player on the team. I do not have any of the guys like Will Smith or Celebrini here. I could, but at the same time, it's like, do I create a player or do I let franchise mode draft random people? I don't know what they're going to use this roster for, so I kind of just keep them without them. And Logan Couture will take the spot of Celebrini as the 1C. The Seattle Kraken are kind of underrated by EA. So EA, McCann should be boosted. He's the best player on the team. Borgstrand was a great acquisition, great numbers, and obviously Ron Francis loves analytics, so a lot of these guys are going to be up there. Borgstrand was a great acquisition from Columbus. I can't believe Columbus just gave the guy away. Eberle, still great in his little bit older age now. Yanni Gourde was a great signing from Tampa, or I guess they picked him from Tampa from the expansion draft. Chandler Stevenson, great underlying numbers, and that was a steal to get him to be a 2 or 3C. Vince Dunn is about the same. I think Larson's boosted up, still plays really great defense. Montour was a steal from Florida. They're really going to miss him. That was probably their biggest loss this offseason. Tolvanen's always been an analytics dude, and they got him for free from Nashville. And the rest of these dudes are boosted up. Like I think Schwartz is a little bit boosted up, but This is a pretty good roster. They might make the playoffs this upcoming season. Buchnevich for the Blues, best player on the team. Kairu's up there, very fast, obviously, with the skills competition. Robert Thomas, very underrated. Shen, their captain, he's okay, but the rest of this team is kind of the middle of the road. They have a lot of aging defensemen that like Krug, Falk, and Nick Leddy that aren't that great. They're on big contracts. So Tampa Bay Lightning, the team that just keeps going, gets Jake Gensel, and they get rid of their captain, obviously, like I said earlier. But Jake Gensel, pretty good player, deserves his 93 overall, as well as Braden Point, definitely the best player on the team. Hagel being 91, a little bit high, but again, star power. You got Kucherov at the same level. Kucherov, obviously, amazing shot, but Kucherov, way below average defender, does not play defense at all. Cirelli, too high, but still great. Hedman, fairish, about 87. Nick Paul, great two-way guy. McDonough goes home to Tampa instead of staying in Nashville. The rest of these dudes are just kind of grinders that they have their, I guess, Tampa Bay identity with. But Tampa will make the playoffs, but I think their window might be done. Austin Matthews, best player in the game at 96 overall. An absolutely unbelievable shot with wrist shot accuracy being a 99. Stack that with his heat seeker zone ability, as well as his other X factors here that make him one of the best players in the game. I think you got Marner and Nylander being 94 overalls, which they deserve. I think EA had Tavares drop down to like an 88 or so, but he's still a great player, and he kind of deserves his 93. Tanev is actually quite good, underrated, deserves an 88. Morgan Riley, overrated in EA's roster. He has been for a while. 85 is very fair. He's a below average defender, more of an offensive defenseman. And then the rest of these dudes are quite well rated, including Ekman Larsson's dropped down a little bit from what he was with EA. Vancouver Canucks, the best player on the team is Elias Pettersson. JT Miller, also greatly rated. I feel like JT Miller is a 92. DeBrusk, for my taste, is a little high at 92. I feel like he should be like 88 or 87. That's more fair. 86 is the lowest though. He does a really good job with driving the play offensively and defensively. He has a decent shot as well. Connor Garland, a little bit high, but has great analytics. Brock Besser, also a little bit high, for a great shot. Here's the biggest difference. Quinn Hughes, I believe, is like a 95 or something in EA's roster, and here he's an 89. That's been curved up from like an 87 or so. Kid is absolutely unbelievable offensively, but defensively, he doesn't play that well. He's about an average takeaway of the puck guy, the stick checking being 86. Has a pretty good shot for a defenseman, but is not very physical at all, does not really hit because he's so little, but I'm sure he's a wonderful leader. He's a hell of a hockey player. Vegas lost out on so many of their free agents. I think they lost all of them, but they do still have Stone, Eichel, Carlson, and Tomas Hertl. Hannafin is very underrated. Pietrangelo has been boosted. He probably deserves like an 87, but the rest of this core defensively is unbelievable. They have a lot of question marks for the rest of their guys, like Olofsson, and then they also are going to be relying on Holtz to hopefully be their guy that can flourish and take the next step in the NHL, but we'll see how it goes. And probably the second biggest turnover change as far as roster goes this offseason, the Washington Capitals go all in for Ovechkin's last 2 or so years of his contract. He has 2 years left. They get Mangiapane from Calgary. Unbelievable underlying numbers. Definitely doesn't deserve a 91, but he drives the play, plays defense. Really good player, very underrated. Dubois from LA does not finish, but drives the play. I don't get like how this guy just can't figure it out. He scores goals, except last year it kind of fell off. Let's see what happens with him in Washington this year as like the 1 or 2 seed, because I think Dylan Strome is the 1 seed. Great signing to get Matt Roy from LA. He's a very underrated player. John Carlson got bumped down because he doesn't play defense. He's a below average defender. And Jacob Chikrin bumped down. He's not a superstar. He doesn't play defense that well. He's a below average defender. He really deserves his 83. And the last team, the Winnipeg Jets, Mark Scheifele, best player on the team. Kyle Connor also deserving. Nina Ryer being a 90 is a little bit high, I'm not going to lie. Ayers being a 90 is pretty well deserved. I think he's like an 85 in the EA roster, as well as Iafallo being an 88. This kid is great. He plays 2 ways. You see his defensive awareness is a 92. A really good two-way forward to have in your middle six. Here is gameplay footage of the Stanley Cup final with a modified version of Altito's sliders. Not as aggressive, a little bit more generic. So I hope you enjoy the footage. It looks pretty good.
Both teams lined up in the middle. We are ready to get things underway. The Panthers kick things off by winning the opening faceoff, and here we go. Fires it on net. Takes it right in the chest. And we're going to get a whistle here. Still plenty of time left in this frame. Still no score in this one. The frozen biscuits dropped, and we are back underway here. Pushes it across to McDavid. And now he moves it to Hyman. Fires it, and he's got the answer for that one. Scores all over the rebound and tucks it in for the goal.
Well, this is just a clinic in shielding the puck and puck protection. James is fighting to get to the mid lane of the ice. And why he's doing it, he's got his head up. Everyone thinks he's going to shoot that puck as he's running out of real estate. Instead, slides it over to his teammate, who's able to finish it off for the tally.
Puck scooped up by Forsling. Here's a short pass to Barkov. Puts it on net. Misses over the net. And he takes the feed. A shot. Shuts him down. They just keep coming in waves here in the offensive end. Towards the bench to Tkachuk. Passes again. Sends it back to Tkachuk. And they'll skate it out of the zone. Pass to Barkov. Oh, here we go. This team knows how to turn it up another gear, and they have done that here. Let's see what the officials are calling.
You're trailing by one and you take a penalty, not the way to get back in the game.
The Oilers get their man advantage unit out there for the first time tonight.
Wow, this power play that's coming out, top-ranked unit. What an arsenal they have in there. Wow, the ability to shoot the puck, pass the puck. They are such a threat from every area of the ice.
And the puck clears the zone. Penalty coming up. There's the whistle, and here's the call.
Tough spot to be in. You need momentum, and you give it back by going on the PK when you're trailing by one.
The Oilers roll out their man advantage unit, and they've got lots of time with this 5-on-3.
With all this time on the 5-on-3, yes, you can be more patient, but you don't want to get lulled to sleep on the outside. You have to move the coverage a little bit outside of the middle. Oh, well, that's going to be a call, James. That's definitely a penalty.
And there's another penalty call against the home team. These fans are frustrated. Cheryl, I think these calls are legit. I just think that the fans are wondering, what about the other side here?
Well, yeah, they got to be expecting to get one soon here, as it is one side, and it's so hard for a team to get into the game when there's no flow because you keep parading yourself to the box.
Centers glide into the face-off dot, and a huge 5-on-3 power play looms.
5-on-3, you know your opponent has big bodies with long sticks in the middle of the ice. You have to find a way to move them. How do you do that? You either shoot the puck or you move it.
Takes the feed at the back end. Quick pass to Hyman, and he makes the save. Good battle along the boards for the puck. Edmonton's got a hold of the puck now. Wow, the home team is really under pressure, and the fans know it. Here's it up, and someone gets in front of that one. Makes the save. Off the post. And there's the whistle as the goaltender will give his team a much-needed rest. They got a face-off coming up here in the offensive end.
And the goaltender looks fatigued, James, so the best medicine right now for them is to find a way to put the puck to the net.
And somehow he hangs on. Tried to make a move, and the puck hops away.
McDavid's known for his creativity, and he tries one too many moves there, and he loses the puck.
Enters the offensive zone from the left. The Oilers have it from their own end. Quick feed to Hyman.
McDavid's so effective in the O-zone. I mean, he knows how to put the puck to the net. He got the go-ahead goal earlier, and now he's looking for more.
How did he stop that one?
As a goaltender, you have to be able to read and anticipate the play. He does it perfectly and is able to negate the shot.
Special teams so important. Can they capitalize on this power play here with a face-off? Puck is dropped and he wins the draw here in the defensive zone. Edmonton's looking to break out. Here's a shot, and he easily stops that one. We got a whistle as the puck's frozen.
Nugent-Hopkins is a great teammate, guys, because he likes to make passes that are easy for his teammates to handle. His tape-to-tape zone ability means the play can continue because the puck doesn't bounce away when he throws the pass.
Shut down by the blocker. Moves it to Henrique. Oh, and they can't keep the puck in the zone. They'll be forced to tag up. The Oilers fail to capitalize on the man advantage. Both sides back to even strength. Scores! And he puts home his own rebound.
Well, this is a second effort, and everyone on the bench erupts when he scores this goal, James. Why? Because he's tenacious on the play. He doesn't just shoot the puck. He finds his own rebound, and then he puts it in. That's a great play. But you gotta love the resilience on this goal. He gets the first shot off, but he continues to track the puck. Good hand-eye coordination to collect it and rip it home. Second shot opportunity goes in.
The Oilers look to be on a mission tonight, already up by 2 here, and we're still only in the first.
Well, the mission is possible because they've been dominant out there tonight, James. They've been relentless. They competed for pucks, lose pucks at will. I mean, they've outbattled their opponent, and now they're sitting with a 2-goal cushion.
Oh, huge hit against the wall, and you know they felt that one.
Well, and that's a tone setter. That's sending a message to every player on your team. Get involved physically, pay the price, use your body, and get the puck.
We got a stoppage. Let's get the call. Reinhardt's getting 2 for tripping.
Draisaitl's getting a chance here on the power play, guys. He knows his zone ability can help them generate a good scoring chance. Let's see if they can strike.
Play resumes as they win the draw here inside the offensive zone. Bobrovsky's going to hang on for a whistle. Luostarinen ready for the draw as they continue to be shorthanded here. And with the centers tied up, he swoops in to take possession. And now it's grabbed by Bouchard. Long reach breaks up the momentum. Along the boards, they battle for the puck. Taken along the wall by Boqvist. And he takes a shot off target. Florida's got a chance to work the transition game now shorthanded. And he takes the pass. Sends one up to Oposo. The Panthers will play it in their own end. Play whistle dead. Penalty coming up.
Well, that's a frustration penalty. I've taken many of those in my day, James. It's going to be the cross-checking penalty. Once you extend your arms, you're in trouble.
Well, things should open up for both sides here with a little 4-on-4 action.
Well, 4-on-4 is similar to 3-on-3. There's more ice available, and you can't just dump it in. You want to possess the puck and try and create numbers around the ice. That's 2-on-1s all over.
Florida's penalty has expired. They now go to work on the man advantage. Scores! And they tuck it into the back of the net.
Hang on there, James. I think they waved this off immediately. This goal is not going to count.
Well, they obviously didn't like the call, but not a lot of time to dwell on it as we are ready to get play back underway. Oh, and he takes possession of the puck from off the wing with the centers all locked up there off the draw. Right through center and into the offensive zone. Turned aside with the glove by Skinner. Puck is frozen and we'll get a face-off. Reinhardt's ready for the draw on this man advantage. The Panthers win the faceoff. Florida's trying to make something happen in the offensive zone. Scores! And they capitalize with the extra player on the ice, and it's a power play goal.
Well, using the advantage of having extra ice available to them, James, that's why their most skilled players are on the ice. That one's executed to perfection.
Edmonton's execution has been on point so far here in this first period. They take possession as he locks him up off the faceoff. Florida's on the attack. Moves it quickly over to Barkov. Up the neutral zone now. And he slides it quickly to Ceci. Battling for it along the boards. Here's a pass in front. And it caroms off a twig in front of the net. And that's knocked away by Ekblad. It's a contact sport, people. There's proof right there. And that's a great heads-up play by Tkachuk.
Florida's been excellent tonight, James. They found ways to work hard on and off of the puck, and when they're away from it, they've really done a great job of being in good position to be able to take away lanes and angles, seams, you name it. But it has to translate to something. This is still a close game.
Clean sheet of ice, period 2 is set to go. Here we go, middle frame now underway as the puck drops. Well, Cheryl, how do you sum this one up through the first 20 minutes?
Edmonton's held the play here, and the reason why they've done it is they've controlled their shot selection. They know exactly where they want to go, when they're going to do it, and they're driving the net.
The Oilers have looked good offensively tonight, generating all sorts of opportunities. McDavid's won a big draw on their own end. Directs it on over to Ekholm. Can't keep a hold of it after that hit. Montour's got it in the defensive end. And he sends it across to Barkov. Taken by Tkachuk. And now he angles it across to Barkov. Tried to get too cute with it and loses possession.
Well, he's got such a slick set of hands. He's trying to manipulate his opponent one by one, but he tries one too many, James, and he loses the puck.
Shuts it down! Puck picked up by Ekholm. Edmonton's got control of it now here in the offensive end. Good fight for the puck along the boards. Here's a short pass to Montour. Takes it across the blue line. And he takes the feed. Denied that one.
He's dialed in tonight, James. When the puck is on his stick, he is a magician. He goes east-west, he can go north-south, and most importantly, he creates his own space. He does take it to the net, but this time the goaltender makes the save.
Inching closer to the midway mark of the period. Edmonton's got a slim lead. They lead it 2-1. The Oilers start with the puck in their own end. Oh, denies them with the paddle save.
Love the way the goaltender gets tight to the shooter here. The puck's in the low slot. You want to take away time, you want to take space. Goaltender does it, makes the save.
Play ready to resume as everybody lines in for the faceoff. And off the draw, they win possession. Dishes it to Henrique. They fight for it along the boards. The Oilers gain possession along the wall. Puck grab by Nurse. Quick pass to Perry. They've got some momentum here. Oh, CP, you know what he wanted there. Just came up a little wide.
Well, JC certainly did. He pulled it into his body, and as he corrals it, he lets it rip. But hockey's a game of inches, and that one just misses.
And we play on. Quick feed to Henrique. Takes the feed. Battle along the boards. Grabbed along the boards by Ekblad. Moves it to Rodriguez. Huge play in his own end to come up with the puck. Wholesale changes coming up as they send it in. Sends it ahead to Luosterainen. Handles the pass. Pokes it away to keep the pressure on. The Panthers looking against the half wall. Centering feed! Off the
intangibles to their game tonight, James. I mean, it has been an uphill battle as they found themselves down in this game, but they continue to battle to chip away. They were urgent on the puck, and now they find themselves getting the equalizer.
Florida's push in the offensive end gets them the equalizer they needed.
Yeah, and with impeccable timing, too, James. You know, at the end of the period, you always know you want to maintain your composure, but you also want to create a ton of energy. You don't want to be scored on, but you certainly want to score a goal. They did just that. They got themselves back at evens in this game.
Pinned up along the boards. Picking up momentum across the zone here on the right side. Oposo's taken down to the ice. We got a penalty coming up. Here comes the call from the official.
Some fragile timing here, James, at the end of the period. It's a close game. The PKers have to get to work. They can get some rest in the intermission, and they can start the next period. Listen, a power play, you want to make sure that you're getting a high percentage shooting shot. And that's exactly what they did earlier on the 1-3-1 where they were able to capitalize. It's about opening up lanes, getting the coverage to move around, and then firing and executing when you have it.
Dumps it in. The Panthers have it against the wall. Can't maintain possession. In the books. Big third period coming up for both teams, and we're ready to go. The Oilers start with possession here as they open up shorthanded. And they'll dump it in. Florida's got a hold of it along the wall. Long lead pass into the neutral zone. Beautiful read in the defensive end by Kane. Edmonton's got it along the wall. Tosses it on to Reinhart. Moves it quickly over to Verhaeghe. Here's a shot. Stopped by the goaltender, getting a piece of that one. Gets it out of his own end.
This is a tough power play sequence, unable to get it into the offensive zone, and the crowd certainly doesn't like it, booing all over the place.
And the man advantage fails to pay off as both teams are back at even strength.
Specialty teams are so huge in any game, James, especially when it's tied. You don't want to fall behind and have discipline really be a factor in the game.
I don't think anybody was hanging on to the puck after that hit. Inside the offensive zone. Puck leaves the offensive end. They'll be forced to do it again. Scooped up along the wall by Rodriguez. Now he slides it up to Montour. Here he is with the backhander. Puck scooped up by Rodriguez. Here's a short pass to Luosterainen. Can't hang on to the puck after taking a knock. And now it's grabbed by McDavid. Quick pass to Ceci. Taken by Montour. Gets the full use of his stick on the poke check. Slides the puck over. Pass it up ahead. Tries to dangle and the puck skips away.
Nugent Hopkins has such great hands and great vision, and he gets in tight.
Oh, stopped it! What a save on the play!
And there's nothing technical about that. That is all about the will to find a way to make that save incredible, James.
Works it across to Lomberg.
The Panthers have clawed their way back into this game simply by never quitting and staying on course with the game plan, James.
From the right side, they gain the zone. Quick feed to Ryan. Makes the save.
Oh, he's one of the best in the game in terms of that butterfly position, and once he drops, he's so agile to be able to slide across the net.
Great read by the Stars, and we take a drive to Clutch City as they take the lead.
Well, the lead is in their hands, and now it's about building off of that. Good shift management, dictating pace, controlling the offensive zone. Everything now, it's on the line. He gets the shot off the most coveted area on the ice, right in front of the pane, doesn't allow the goalie to get set up, and puts it home.
The Panthers have gone in front at a critical time here in this one. It's a one-goal game here in the third.
Well, it's exactly where they want to be, right? They have the lead, and they want to close this out. They're going to need to stay aggressive, stay on the puck, and not give any opportunities to their opponent.
Moves it to Montour. Moves the puck into the attacking area. Here's a pass in front. Oh, and he comes up with a stop. There's the whistle. Let's get the call from the officials.
Well, when you're looking for a shorthanded is not ideal. You're also killing valuable time where you can be pressing in your PK.
The Panthers once again send out their power play unit.
They've already scored on the power play tonight, James, and if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. The coach has got them all ready to go, fired up. They've worked endlessly on this setup, and man, is it working tonight.
Passed up ahead.
Great vision to see that stretch pass.
Quick shot! Makes the glove stop. And we'll get the whistle after the goaltender hangs on. Another face-off looming here on this power play. Edmonton's won the face-off. And a poke check knocks the puck away. The Oilers will kill off a few extra seconds now. Big save.
Well, this save looks easier than it actually is. I mean, when you have a shooter right in the slot and you know that you've got to find a way to get your glove on it, you got to be fast, you got to be quick and show those reflexes. He does that and makes the save.
Draisaitl's gliding in for the face-off as this penalty kill will continue. Hammers one. Oh, you'll win respect for your teammates doing that. What a block. Oh, here we go. This team knows how to turn it up another gear, and they have done that here. Over to the boards to Rodriguez. Back and scores! And the power play comes up big again.
I love the various options that they have on their power play, James. Once the PK adjusts to one, they hit the other. James, these are the kind of pesky goals that create a ton of energy for your team. The rebound pops out after the shot. You have to have a hard stick, be heavy on it, with it on the ice, battle and compete for it. He does it and he buries it.
The Panthers been going in one direction all night long, and that's to the net, and they lead it here late in this third period. Moves it quickly over to Ceci. The Panthers gain control of the puck. Sends the pass over and makes the save. Goaltender covers it up, and we'll get a reset here. Carlin Bain is standing by with her answer to the head-to-head matchup tonight. Carlin?
Forslick's been fun to watch here in this one, guys. Even though both players have contributed offensively, I just like how he's played his game in this one.
Slides the puck across to Forsling. Gaining momentum up along the side. Moves it to the middle. He scores! What an opportunity and delivers!
Well, these are the types of goals that create a ton of energy up and down the bench, James, because it's about hounding pucks for retrieval, but also having the presence of mind to get the stick on puck and put it to the net. Great goal.
The Panthers are having themselves a night. They probably don't want this one to end, Pounder.
Nah, I wouldn't. If you're padding the stats and you're putting up these kind of numbers, I mean, from start to finish, they've imposed their will on their opponent.
And off the face-off, they take possession. Here's a short pass to Barkov. Under a minute to go in the third. Oh, and a huge save. And they'll get a breather as the goaltender covers it up. Florida's offense has put on a show tonight, and here they are in blowout mode late in the third. And they take possession here inside the offensive zone. Carries it into the offensive end up the middle. Bounce it down out of midair. And there's the save. Goaltender covers up. We got a stoppage in play. Florida's looking to close things out here. They've been the dominant team all night. Hard to see them taking their foot off the gas now. Puck picked up by Montour. Quick pass to Tkachuk. Here's a pass down low. Takes the feed. And he's tripped up on the play. Referee's hand goes up here. Let's see what the official makes for the final decision.
I always hated to play in these games. You just came out flat and nothing you did made it better. Now they got to kill off a penalty when they're getting blown out. Real tough game. I expect that they'll go with the exact same same formation that they were successful on earlier, James, an umbrella power play set. We have 3 up high and really are using the top of the offensive zone. You want to draw the coverage out, and then you can look for cross seams and perhaps dive down and really attack the net.
Here we go, puck's in deep. And as the final seconds tick off the clock, the home fans acknowledging what they just saw tonight. Here's a chance. Oh, he gets a blocker on it. What a stop by Bobrovsky. Final horn sounds, bringing this one to a close. Florida's puck pursuit tonight was on another level here, Cheryl.
It really was, and also their shot selection. What I mean by that is they didn't get any or very many blocks, and that's really disguising your shot and knowing exactly how to open up the lanes.
The current state of EA NHL is not a good one. The gameplay feels scripted rather than organic, and that isn't fun overall. Sticks, when you're playing defense, move out of passing lanes so that passes go through rather than you being rewarded for good defense. Board pins are as scripted as ever as you get suctioned up from an unreasonable distance, and that isn't following physics at all. And poke checking is advantageous to the computer because for human users, the stick goes right at their skates. And the computer, for some reason, can move their stick around bodies to poke check, which is not available to the user at all. EA NHL feels more like Madden than college football. For the series moving forward, I want EA NHL to play more like CFB. Arcade-like gameplay with simulation-based physics and strategies, with deep enough My Player and Dynasty modes to fulfill your needs. The game is just straight up fun to play. Hope something small like this roster can bring us closer to that. Godspeed.